Hello everyone, my name is Lin Lovely and this is In Bed with Lin Lovely. In this YouTube channel I'm going to invite you to one of my greatest passions in life, and that is fluffy hotel rooms and fluffy hotel beds and amazing people. I love people and I have so many inspiring and amazing friends that I want to introduce to you. I have been working in the fields of health and personal development for more than 2 decades. I started off as a yoga teacher and continued with meditation and dance and eventually also tantra. And today I'm traveling the world and inspiring people to live a more natural and loving life through the practice of tantric meditations. So why do I do this? I remember how it was before I started to practice tantra. I was feeling lonely. And I believe that it's part of the human experience to feel lonely. I believe that ultimately we are, as human beings, lonely. We are separated with our worlds, with our inner worlds, with our emotions, with our beings. We are separated from each other. And this loneliness can be more or less felt and experienced. Personally, I was really scared of this loneliness, and I tried so hard to get rid of it. I remember when it was worst in my life, I had to have the TV and the radio on at once to be filled up with impressions, not to feel this core of loneliness inside. I also believe that we live in a society where we are not allowed to be really human and where human values are not valued enough, and that makes us unhappy. If I would say that life is perfect and that you are perfect and that your body, no matter how it looks and how it behaves, is perfect, what would you say? Would you agree or not? I remember one of the first teachings that I got from my yoga teacher back in the days in India. He said to me, and he's doing this with his head, Indian head, "You know what? Life, everything is perfect." I didn't agree with him back then because, my yoga postures were far from perfect and my restless mind was far from perfect, and I had so many issues with my body image, with my self-worth and with relationships. So I just couldn't get it. It's not perfect. What do you mean? There is so much that I need to improve. However, slowly I learned that actually everything is perfect. This body, this vehicle, is a perfect manifestation of the choices that I've done. How I choose to eat, how I choose to rest, how I choose to think, how I choose to exercise, how I choose to behave. So this body is a perfect manifestation of my choices. Whether this body is healthy or sick, it is perfect. My mind and my life is a perfect manifestation of my habits, of the way that I treat myself and others. Our bodies are constantly communicating with us. But the question is, do we listen? First of all, our bodies are communicating with emotions. Emotions, it is energy in motion, energy that moves. And when energy moves, we feel it. Whether you believe in energy or not, we feel it. And it moves in different frequencies. There are some emotions that are more preferred than others, like happiness, contentment, motivation, joy, love. And other emotions are less wanted, like sadness, anger, regret, shame. And so if we grow up in a culture or in a family where it is not allowed to express our emotions and allowing these emotions to move, we will slowly cut off the emotions. And whenever an undesired emotion comes, we will try to suppress it. And the way we suppress emotions is by tensing up our bodies. Our bodies are not made to be tense, no. Our bodies are made to be flexible, movable, strong, pulsating, full of life, full of movement, full of blood circulation. Circulation is vital for our health. When circulation stops, our cells get less nourishment and the toxins from the body are not being transported out of the body. When we are tense in our bodies, our nervous system doesn't work properly. And the homeostasis inside the body is not contained. And so the nervous system sends up warning signals to the brain, telling your brain something is wrong. When the brain thinks that something is wrong, the brain is an organ of intellect. It's an organ of analyze. So when the brain gets the impulse that something is wrong, the brain will definitely start to analyze your situation. It will start to look outside of yourself for what is causing you to feel this unpleasant feeling, this tension in your body. And the brain wants to be right. The brain wants to find the reason outside of itself. It's because of you, it's because of that, it's because of this. Sometimes also the brain starts to point, or the mind starts to point on yourself. Well, it's because of this, it's because of this, it's because of that, that I feel uncomfortable and tense in my body. And the organ, the brain, and the mind is there to solve things, to come up with solutions. And so we start to think, like in advance, if I do that, and we start to make lists of how to improve ourselves. When the mind is active and when the mind is trying to improve something, when you want to change something, your body is filled with really great hormone called adrenaline. Adrenaline makes you active, it makes you move, it makes you strong, it makes you move towards a certain direction. The problem is when we have adrenaline turned on most of the time. When we have these thoughts about what we need to change in order to improve all the time. Adrenaline is not supposed to be there all the time. Because if it is, the body will become acidic. And acidic will make micro-inflammations and micro-inflammation leading to cardiovascular diseases, leading to cancer, leading to allergic reactions, and so on. So, how to avoid illnesses and disease is to start to listen to your body and start to allow emotions. Start to allow energy to flow and start to listen to them. Because what does it mean to be sad? What does sadness tell you? Sadness is an emotion that tells you that you are in the wrong place. That you maybe need to direct your awareness to something else. Maybe you lost something. Maybe you neglected something. And sadness reminds you about what is important in life. And it's nothing to do about the sadness. Just to allow it. just to allow it to be there and don't resist it. I read an interesting article about sadness and about tears. The article asked the question, why do we cry? Why does tear pours out of our eyes? Does it have a purpose? And one of the reasons why we cry is actually to communicate emotions without words, without our mind. Because sometimes we can be sad without knowing why, we can be sad without a mind. And sometimes sadness can be so deep and so strong that we can't communicate it. And that's why we cry, because we want other people to see that we're sad. And why do we want other people to see that we're sad? Because we want to be held in the sadness. We want to be just supported in our sadness, because sadness makes us feel small, makes us feel weak, makes us feel vulnerable. And the natural reaction of seeing someone sad is awakening of empathy. Awakening of empathy is feeling connected to that person and that feeling, that sadness. And wanting to be there with your loving presence. Nothing else, nothing to do, nothing to change, just to be there. When I look back into my own childhood and my own life, I wasn't allowed to be sad. It would always need to change. If the adults around me would see that I was sad, sometimes they ignored it because they think it was silly. And when they didn't ignore it, they tried to change it by, oh, poor you, it's alright, everything will be alright. But in that moment, it's not alright. And in that moment, sadness may feel infinite. And if someone is trying to tell me as a vulnerable little child that sadness is not allowed to exist, sadness will be alright, subconsciously I will start to think that there's something wrong with me. Because obviously I'm sad. So I will start to point at myself, well, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel like that? Why do I feel like this? I'm not supposed to be like this. The people that should care about me, the people that should support me, they are turning their love away from me when I feel like this. They're trying to change me when I feel like this. And it's the same with anger. It's the same with shame. It's the same with guilt. All of these emotions, they're communicating something really important when they are communicating in real time. Because it's different with feelings that we are attaching to. I feel angry. Or I am angry. Maybe the emotion of anger arises in you when you feel that someone stepped over your boundaries. And anger is a powerful emotion that makes action. That can actually say, no, stop! I don't want this. But if we are not allowed to express our anger, we will swallow it. And when people then step over our boundaries, we will swallow the anger and it will grow inside of us. And if anger is a forbidden emotion, I will get scared of this emotion. And fear will bring me up into my brain and will try to make my mind solve the problem of anger. And mind will hold on to this emotion. I am angry. What should I do to change it? I am angry. Whose fault is it? I'm angry. Who is responsible for this feeling in me? And so, when we are holding on to our emotions, they will stay there. And since our mind, our body, and our nervous system is functioning in patterns, like our whole existence is relying on repetition, is relying on our patterns. If we are holding on to certain emotions, we will create patterns in the nervous system, in the brain, that establish this emotion as something natural, something that is really definitely part of me. And I will feel safe with these emotions, even if the emotions are not desirable or not really supporting me to move forward in life. Because holding on to emotions, creating feelings, creating identification with them, is not supporting us. Because emotions is supposed to move. Anger may be supposed to transform into sadness. And sadness may be transformed into love, and love into motivation. And motivation into action and creation into satisfaction. So this is the way that we are communicating with our bodies, with our emotions, and making life happen in a flow. So, back to my yoga teacher in India. Everything is perfect, everything. If we start to meditate on this idea, everything is perfect, we are contemplating it and allowing our mind to move outside of the box and see things from other perspectives or from a higher perspective. This seed, the thought seed of everything is perfect, will start to grow in your subconscious mind. And suddenly you will come to a place where you realize that your sadness is perfect, your anger is perfect, your shame is perfect, your joy is perfect, your horniness is perfect, your curiosity is perfect, your body is perfect. Maybe your body is currently sick or obese or has some kind of issue, but it's perfect right now. It doesn't mean that it will stay like that forever, because everything moves. Everything moves and everything changes. The question is, in what direction does it move? Does it move towards more stress, more mind, more worries, more emptiness? Or does it move toward more satisfaction, more peace, more acceptance, more growth? I'm looking forward to be older because I'm planting those seeds in my mind. The seeds of acceptance, the seeds of everything is perfect just the way it is. And I feel that every day it's making me stronger, even though on the surface my life may not be perfect. My life is not a perfect Instagram feed. I have emotions of all kinds. I have obstacles of all kinds in myself and in my life. But I choose to be here no matter what. I choose to be here in my body and to feel it all, because I want to feel alive. And life is all-inclusive. Life doesn't choose this or that. And if your mind thinks that life is going to be perfect, joyful, pleasurable, then you will have to wait for life to begin. And maybe you will have to wait until the end, because life already begun, and it's here and now, and it's happening here and now. And this is what it is. Another question is about intention. Well, if everything is the way it is, what is my intention with life? How do I want to lead my life? Where do I want to go? And this is a question to take really serious, because our intention is our direction. And even subconscious intentions like, I don't want this, I don't want that, this scares me, it is giving you the direction towards that. So working consciously with your intention asking yourself, what do I want? Which direction do I want to move to? To more acceptance, to more love, to more peace? Well, then that is the direction in which your life will evolve. And life is all-inclusive. So even though you're moving towards more peace, you will find yourself in the midst of drama, in the midst of pain. Yes, because that's life. But if your intention is peace, peace will always be there. And you will always be able to direct your awareness towards the peace in the middle of all drama, in the middle of all craziness. So I hope that you will find yourself inspired by my vlog In Bed with Lin Lovely, and inspired by all these amazing people who are planting the seeds in themselves, but also supporting you and other people to plant seeds. Seeds of love, seeds of appreciation, seeds of gratitude, seeds of empowerment that are supporting people to grow. And these are the people that I want you to know. So, to be continued.